right, everybody, what's up? How are you doing? How's your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your loved one? Welcome to On the Court Off the Street. Today, my guest is a junior JMC student at North Carolina A&T. He is the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Elite Total Networking Sports, also known as ETNS. He is the founder of the Final Whistle podcast / blog and is currently the score co-editor for the A&T Register. My guest today is Humphrey III. Jerry, how you doing today?
Man, I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. So as you can see, I've got to tease him. Me being a Chiefs fan, he's got that blasphemy on his chest. He's rocking I guess it's now a vintage. He changed to 97, correct?
Yeah.
Joey Bosa jersey of the 5-9. What are you?
Oh, we're 5-9.
5-9. Los Angeles Superchargers. But honestly, I appreciate you for coming on, Jerry. So I want to get straight into it. What event or person got you into sports journalism? Or were you involved in any sports when you were younger, which is basically predating college? Anything?
Yeah, so I grew up playing football. Football was like my first love. And kind of when I moved to Charlotte, I started playing basketball. So I played football, basketball, and I ran track. But kind of when I got to middle school, when I stopped playing, going into high school, I really started watching Sports Center, ESPN, and I used to watch those every morning before I went to school, and that's kind of where I found my knack and where I wanted to be a journalist.
All right, and so what athlete or sports anchor, sports announcer, broadcaster, someone in that field, etc., did you look up to, or you still are looking up to in the world of sports journalism?
Well, growing up, I was a huge Stuart Scott fan.
Stuart Scott, that's my man.
Yeah, Stuart was the guy. He just to see how professional he was, and he brought his own personality to it. I really loved how he covered the game. But I would say currently, you got to go with the old faithful Stephen A. Smith. He's everybody's favorite, and Stephen A. He came from an HBCU like myself, so I really look up to his story and how he became a great like he is.
Now, speaking of Stephen A. Smith, who went to Winston-Salem State, you chose A&T. Could it have been any other school? If so, why?
Well, when my mom came to me in the 8th grade saying, you're about to go to high school and it's going to be time to choose in colleges, she always wanted me to go to an HBCU. So A&T has always been the number one. At first, it was hard for me to get into A&T. It took a couple tries. So I would say it would have been Fayetteville State or Winston if I didn't choose A&T, but A&T was always going to be the number one for me.
All right. And so, 2020 has been a roller coaster of a year. How is it covering sports during a pandemic? You had the opportunity to interview a couple of pretty good prospects in Zach Yeager, football player coming to A&T next season, and Duncan Powell, who is a 4-star recruit in basketball from Texas who's coming here next season. So, how is it covering sports in a pandemic, and how was interviewing those two prospects?
Well, covering sports in a pandemic was definitely interesting. It forced me to stay consistent and really follow up on sports, the stats, because it wasn't really getting the coverage like it was with the pandemic, with more social issues and world issues going on. But as far as the interviewing Zach and Duncan, it was great. Me and my team, we did a phenomenal job reaching out to them. They're very cool people, and it forced me to realize that they're just like us. We're all just teenagers trying to find our way. So really talking to them, they're some cool, solid guys, and I can't wait to see them on campus next year.
All right, and so this particular episode is dubbed Making Moves. You're involved in a couple podcasts slash blogs, as I mentioned earlier, which are outside the A&T Register, of course. Why is it important to you to be involved in these other ventures while at school?
I think my main reason for being part of many ventures is for the ulterior goal of perfecting my craft, of being a great journalist. I feel like having multiple ventures going on, it forcing me to continue to practice and get better on things like public speaking, being in front of a camera, interviewing other people, being interviewed. So I feel like that's my reason for doing it, because at the end of the day, I'm getting better at what I want to do for the rest of my life.
All right, and Elite Total Networking Sports, like I said, also known as ETNS. and the Final Whistle. Tell me how they became to be and why you wanted to become involved. So let's start with ETNS. First off, how did you come up with that name?
So it was actually Justin who came up with the name. Big shout out to my man Justin Gasson at Fayetteville State and Taquan Porter at NC State. But Justin came to me about the idea, and he was saying, you know, we grew up watching ESPN. Why not be the next ESPN? And that's when I don't know, we were kind of at work just brainstorming, and he was like, Elite Total Network and Sports. And I was like, yeah, I think that's the one. But, you know, ETNS has been great. We founded it our senior year of high school, like around February-ish. So we were all heading to college in a couple of months. So it's been great. We've interviewed like a lot of local athletes from our high school and in the Charlotte area. We interviewed Artie Burns, who used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So a lot of great things have happened out of ETNS, and I would say we've actually grown because we were friends first before we became business partners. So we've grown a lot with each other, and it's a lot of things happening for ETNS in the future.
And so the Final Whistle podcast and blog, you know, when was that founded? What's the difference between the Final Whistle and ETNS, or are they, you know, kind of similar with maybe a little twist, no twist going? Tell me about that.
So the Final Whistle, my friend Titus, who he actually came up with the idea. He saw what I was doing at ETNS. He said, you know, I think I kind of like want to do something. He's good with cameras and video editing, so he just wanted like a platform where he can showcase different sports and different HBCU sports. So the Final Whistle, he did a sports blog, and he wanted my help with putting some of my articles on the sports blog as well. So I teamed up with him, and basically the Final Whistle is just a social media page aimed to like post different sports news, sports highlights, and we kind of like wanted to rebrand it because confusion that people were getting that is kind of too close to ETNS. So basically we just wanted to make it like a overall podcast where we talk about multiple things, but sports being a strong suit since we both know about that.
All right, and so, you know, what's next for either one of those shows or podcasts / blogs? You know, what's next? Any podcast episodes coming out soon? For you, any internships, anything going on? What's next for Jerry?
So as far as ETNS, we should have another episode released by next week, covering about the college football playoffs and bowl mania that's getting ready, and then the NBA season. And like I said, with the Final Whistle, we're in a place where we want to rebrand it, where we're just not known for our sports. We kind of just want to just post whatever, and maybe even start like a YouTube channel with that, because the Final Whistle is like really meant for like the people I met in college. It's a lot of people in our friend group that do a lot of different things. So we just want to showcase everyone's talent in that one outlet. So the Final Whistle, it's kind of like history now, I would say. You know, 2020 was a great year for the Final Whistle. We got like a lot of buzz, but be on the lookout for 2021. It's going to be maybe a whole new name and just a whole new type of surface. But I would say for me, the future holds. I've been applying for some internships, so we just have to wait and see if I get them. But my main goals is just continuing my reign as the co-editor and just making great content for you guys.
Speaking of co-editor, like we say, because you have a lot of co-founder of ETNS, founder of Final Whistle, and then score editor, or the score co-editor for the A&T Register. So apparently Jerry's, you know, real good with teamwork.
Yeah.
But you know, with the A&T Register, let me ask you quickly about that. So A&T, as most people know, are transitioning from the MEAC to the Big South next year. You know, how do you feel about that move? I was just asked, you know, earlier this week, do you think it devalues, does it make A&T less of an HBCU by going to another conference? Do you think they're putting on for, you know, HBCUs by kind of going into another conference, maybe able to have that chance to take over? What's your thoughts on NCAT's move to the Big South?
I think the move to the Big South is a great move. It's a great business move. there's a lot of talent at these HBCUs that get overshadowed by these big schools. So I think A&T moving to the Big South is a next step of these talented athletes really getting the recognition that they deserve. I saw a tweet the other day, Elijah Bell, he was like, man, I can't believe that I'm not in the league. And I was like, wow, he's actually good to even play on somebody's practice squad. So I think, no, it doesn't devalue the HBCU norms that A&T has. I said it actually grown it, and we should see that more HBCUs are going to be making these type of moves because I feel like it's better for the university. And I think we're going to excel very well.
And, real quick, going back to Duncan and Zach. So Duncan is the 4-star. Zach is what?
3-star.
3-star?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is excellent. How do you think maybe winning? We've won 4 of the last 5 Celebration Bowls, or I'm gonna say A&T has won 4 to 5, Celebration Bowls, which is all the Celebration Bowls in existence. Really, that's only 5, and A&T have won 4 of the 5. How do you think that, and in our play, or I keep saying our, and A&T's play in the MEAC as far as basketball-wise, how do you think the winning culture is able to bring students to A&T?
It's eye candy. Recruits, they want to go to places where they can win and they can make their own name. And the football team has been winning for years. And we're seeing people like Tariq Cohen. I think we have a linebacker on the Bills. I can't remember his name.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
Jarod Johnson.
So they want to play for these schools that produce players and that are winning. So I think the winning culture at A&T has really brought recruits it's a black school, they're winning, and that they want to make a name and be the next big thing because everybody's going to these blue blood schools. So why not take the chance and go into a small school that's winning?
Okay. And for you, to close out, are there any New Year's resolutions, whether that be, because you're going into your second semester, your junior year, anything you want to do academically, or anything you want to do with your podcast / blogs, internships, jobs, maybe just on yourself? Any resolutions?
I think my big resolution is to just stay consistent. I've been doing a lot over the years, so I just want to just continue to grow and just be consistent because once you fall off, it can really hinder your goals. And we can't take any days off. So I think that's my big goal, is just staying patient with the process and just staying consistent.
All right. And so any final words, any message that you want to leave? This is the end of 2020 as we're recording this. Overall, because I didn't really go into COVID because, that's an evergreen story, but how was this year for you? If you would just say your last words based off, was it something that you were able to do more in 2020 because of COVID, I guess, because you had so much free time, or did it hamper some goals? So I guess that's the final question.
No, I've actually grown a lot throughout this year, staying in the house, being to myself, being really in my thoughts a lot. I found myself a different person coming out of this year. So yes, this year world-wise have been a disaster, but for me it's one of the best years I've ever had because I was able to really sit back and grow as a person and know what I need to do to be successful. And I would say I've had a lot of opportunities granted to me this year. So I'm just thankful that I'm here and to see 2021. And I feel like 2021 is going to be a great year for all of us.